If you've always wanted to learn an entire bass line to one of your favorite songs, or if you're just looking for something new and easy to play while picking up some solid tips along the way, I'm going to take you through everything you need to know to play the bass line to the song Bad Moon Rising exactly as it is on the recording. From rhythm and feel to frets and fingering, I've got you covered. I also have free tools to give you today to help you learn this song. First, check out my cover of this song to use as a reference and to follow along as you practice. Second, you can download the bass tab that we're using today. So be sure to check out those goodies using the links below. Okay, let's get to our bass line. Make sure to have your bass ready because you're gonna need it. Okay, the first thing to know about this song is that it's in cut time, or we could say it has a 2 feel. That means that for every written measure, we're going to feel 2 beats instead of the usual 4 in 4/4 time. You might notice that there is no 4/4 time on the page either, and that's because we have the little C with the line through it. The C means common time, which is 4/4 time. So if you just see the C, it's in 4/4. But with the line through it, that means that we're expected to feel 2 beats per measure. So we start off here with our Ds or our 5th fret on the A string. You'll notice a little 4 above the staff. These are my fingering numbers. So we're going to use finger 4 for that 5th fret. Now in this particular 2 feel, we have a note and a rest and a note and a rest. And so the note and the rest, that is one of our 2 beats. Bon, rest, bon, rest. So I want you to make the rest of equal importance to the note. You play the note when your foot goes down, when your foot goes up, halfway through that beat, the beat where we have 2 per measure, halfway through that first beat, you stop the note. So I'm going to lift up on the left hand. I'm also going to take my right hand and gently touch the string. So with both of my hands, I'll be muting this note. And that's what we're going to do for the rest. We mute the note, make it not sound. If I don't mute, it sounds like this, which is a very different sound than. I also don't want you to make the note super short. I want it exactly in the middle of each beat. That rest should be in the middle of each beat. So feel the beat, feel the upbeat, which is the crest of the beat, the middle of the beat. So head goes down, head goes up, bump, 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 bump. These are my beats, 2 per measure. And I'm going to go no, rest, 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 no, rest. And that's going to be our feel for pretty much the entire song, with a couple of exceptions where we actually play through those rests. I'm also going to be in a closed position whenever possible in this song and in every song that I play on the bass, and you should too. This is one of the very, very basic things about playing bass that a lot of new bass players or sometimes guitar players transitioning to bass don't realize. Whenever we can, we want to cover only 3 frets. So finger 1 on the 3rd fret, finger 2 on the 4th fret, and fingers 3 and 4 working together for that next, or in this case, 5th fret. And so when I start this song, when I'm playing these Ds, I'm not stretched out. This takes a lot of energy, and I don't want to do this. I want to be relaxed and ready to go. So closed position whenever possible, covering 3 frets. Exactly 3 frets, not more and not less. Now, one of the choices that I've made on this song, the way I want to play it, is not to use any open strings. This is not a mandate for everything you ever play, but the open strings sound thinner. You're losing something by using them. So in this song, we're not going to use any open strings. That's why I'm using the 5th fret for my D instead of the open D. I want that nice, thick bass sound for this song in particular. Now, as we get into the first verse, we have more Ds. Surprise, surprise. And a couple of Ds there. And then we're going to move to the 5th fret, which is our A on the E string. Now, we have a situation that I call neighboring notes or neighboring strings. So these 2 notes are neighbors. They live next to each other, so to speak. And we have to decide how we want to get from one note to the next. There's 3 ways that we're going to see all demonstrated today in how to do that. The easiest way, and the way that we're going to do in this case, is to stop the note, move your fingers, and play the next note. The only time we can't do that is when the music doesn't want it. If the music wants me to hold that first note out, I can't instantaneously be at the next note while holding the first note still. There's always going to be a little bit of a gap in there. But in this case, we want to have that rest be involved. It's of equal importance, and so we're going to go ahead and just stop the note and move to our next note. Of the 3 ways to deal with neighboring notes, I call this the muting technique. You mute the note, you move to the next one. So let's play through this first verse together. We have 2 Ds resting in between, move, we have the A, and then the G. Now all I have to do to hit the G is to release all of my fingers except for my first one, and I've got my G right there because I'm in a closed position, as always, and my G is always available. I'm going to go back to my Ds, and 2 more Ds. Now at this point I want you to notice that we've played 4 bars, and the next 4 bars are exactly the same. We call this a phrase, and in this case a 4-bar phrase. What I don't want you to do is feel this as having 3 bars of D in a row or 6 Ds in a row. We don't have 6 Ds in a row. We have 2 Ds, and then an A and a G, and then 4 more Ds. Take a breath, then we have 2 Ds, and an A and a G, and then 4 more Ds. That's the way it should feel, because that's the way it sounds to the listener. When you hear the phrasing, it's easier to remember the music, it's easier to track where you're at in the music, and it's easier not to get lost in the music, and it just makes more sense to you as a musician. So on the page, we don't necessarily see that. We just see a bunch of Ds. But in our ear, we should be acknowledging the 4-bar phrase. Okay, next 4 bars, as we said, same thing. We have 2 Ds, we have the A and the G, we have 2 Ds followed by 2 more Ds. Again, take a breath, new phrase, 2 Ds, an A and a G, 2 Ds, and 2 more Ds. Next phrase, 2 Ds, an A and a G, 2 Ds, and 2 more Ds. Now at this point we see what I call little notes. There's more rests. When we look at the staff, there's some on the top, there's some on the bottom, and we have some little tiny notes pointed down, and we have some regular sized notes all pointed up. This is because we're going to come back and repeat the section again later. So for now, we ignore the little notes and just play the big notes. It can be visually a little bit harder to track, but it's a way of using repeats to save pages and not have to turn so many pages or do so much scrolling or whatever it is. So on to the chorus. We have G's now. Let's play through this. G, 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 D, 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 down to A, G, G, and then 4 Ds. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we see a repeat sign. You may have noticed this before at the beginning of the verse. We see that repeat. It's got the 2 dots, the thin line, the thick line, and we're going to repeat the section that the dots are facing. So we're going to go back to the beginning of the verse and play it again. Now we're in verse 2. That's why the section is marked verse 1 and verse 2. Let's go ahead and play through, and we'll stop the little notes when we get there. If you're enjoying this lesson, please take a moment to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss any more bass lessons. And I would love to hear what other songs either you're working on or you want to work on, or what songs you might need help with. So please let me know in the comments. And now we have the little notes. This is our second example of the neighboring notes dilemma. We have notes that are neighbors side by side. They use the same fret, but in this case, we don't have a rest to separate them. So the muting technique would not be appropriate. I'd have to move too quickly. I'd have to cut that note short, and it doesn't really serve the music. It's not right for what the music wants. We do that by getting our third finger involved. So we're going to hit D with finger 4. We're going to turn our wrist just a little bit to get that third finger lined up right by the fret, just like the fourth finger is. I don't want it way back here where it's going to buzz. I want it right up to the fret. We're going to play finger 4, finger 3, and then we turn back around to play G with finger 1. Let's look at that a couple of times. Now we're back in the chorus. Let's play through that, and we'll stop when we get to the end of the line. Okay, little note time again. Because we're not using open strings. I've made this choice. There's a lot of choices that you could make in this section, but here's how I'm going to choose to play this. I'm going to do my first position change of the piece. So I'm going to bring my first finger up to the D, playing my D with my first finger instead of my fourth finger, and I'm going to play the D with 1, I'm going to play the A with 1, the B with 4 in a closed position, and then I'm going to reach out and play this 4th fret, this C sharp here. I'm going to play that C sharp in an open position. This is my first open position of the song, and so I'm covering 4 frets with 4 fingers for the first time. So I play my 7th fret, and I reach back out and play my 4th fret here. Then I close it back up as I play the D with finger 2. And the reason I want to close it back up is because it doesn't do me any good to hold this open position. I'm using a lot of effort and I'm not really getting anything for it. And once again, we have the neighboring note dilemma. So this time, using 2 fingers won't really work. If I try to do side by side with fingers 1 and 2, I'm going to go like this, like this. I'm going to have to move around and go back here. And that's just a lot of motion. It's possible. It's fine. I could do that. But look at my wrist. Look how much my wrist is having to move back and forth in order to get that done. Plus, I'm coming from here, and instead of using finger 1, I'm going to land with finger 2 at a sideways motion. It's just no good. I don't like it. So I'm going to bar instead. I'm going to use my first finger to cover both notes on the 5th fret. I'm going to use the skin right under the knuckle, and then I'm just going to rock back and forth like a teeter-totter. So my A string, my E string, my A string, my E string. What I don't want to do is hold down both of them at once, and then I play the A and then the E, and it sounds like that. And nobody wants to hear that. So I'm muting the E with 1/2 of the teeter-totter, and I move it, and now I'm muting the A. Let's look at those last 2 bars together. So D's with my 4th finger twice, doing a position change, preparing the bar, hitting that D, hitting the A, reaching to the 7th fret, reaching back to the 4th fret, and then getting into the guitar solo with another D, this time with the 2nd finger. Because I come into the guitar solo with my 2nd finger, I need to go ahead and move myself back into position. We see a slash going down before the finger 4. That's indicating that I want to transition back down the neck to hit the D with my 4th finger. Then I continue on. I hit the A, hit the G, hit the D, hit the A. Again, same thing here. We're going to slide up, do a position change, prepare the bar. We have D, A, barring that, 7th fret, 4th fret, 2nd finger, position change, 4th finger. And again, in a closed position, A and G, the D and the A. And now I'm going to hit my Ds with finger 4, and I'm going to go into an open position for my 2nd fret and my 4th fret on the D string. Then close off that 4th finger, bring myself back into a closed position for the G, the 5th fret on my D string. And now we're doing the same thing we've been doing most of this song, just 1 string up. And then we have 5 and 5, and then 4, 3, 4 for that side by side, and then 3 back down, and then we're going to adjust that back to finger 4 so we can be in a closed position and hit my 3rd fret, my G's down here, my 5th fret, my 5th fret, my 5th fret, my 5th fret, back and forth. Coming into verse 3, I play 5th fret, 5th fret. I'm going to go ahead and use my 3rd finger, again on the A, that 5th fret, so I can do my side-by-side neighboring note technique. I've got 2 Ds and 2 more Ds. That closes out that 4-bar phrase, and I go again. D, D, A, G, D, 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 A, G, D, 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 D. One more phrase. And then again, side by side here. Into my final chorus. For the final chorus, we're going to lead in with G's, 1st finger, off to the D's with the 4th finger, A's, G's, and then Ds with the 4th finger. Again, we're going to hit 2 Ds, expand into an open position, fret 2, fret 4 with finger 3, close it out with finger 4. Then we're going to do a position change. We see by the slash we're going to move up the neck. Finger 1 on the G again, and that's so we can reach this 7th fret, the highest note of the bass line. We also see a dot above the note. This is a staccato. This means that we play the note very short. So before, when I said don't play it like that, well, now we do want to play it like that. We want to play that one note just a little bit shorter. So we're going to hit that D, immediately mute it, again by releasing it with the left hand, and on the right hand by capturing that string so that that note has no chance of ringing out anymore. As soon as we hit that, we're going to go back down to the G with finger 1. We position change one last time to finger 4 on the D. That's the end of that phrase. We're going to go 2 more A's, 2 more G's, 2 more D's, and then 1 big long D. Now you see the little I with the eyebrow on it? That's called a fermata. And that means you hold the note till it's good and ready to be done. It means you just hold it out for a long time. I think of it like a conductor. You see the conductor holding out the whole orchestra, ba 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 ba, right? And the conductor holds the baton out, and the orchestra plays on and just holds that note. Well, that's a fermata. So a fermata is you just hold the note till you're good and done. In this case, we hold the note as it decays naturally, and that's the end of the song. Okay, I know that was a lot of information, but I wanted to be sure to give you everything you needed to play this song correctly, making it both easy to play and sounding great. Go over this video again, practicing the techniques and concepts slowly. After you record your own cover of this song, I'd love it if you would come back here and give us a link to your video in the comments section. So show us your success here so we can all celebrate that. I'll see you next time.